Everybody wants to point fingers and blame. Who gets the blame for what we've seen with the Boston Red Sox over the last month?
You have to start at the very top. The person who put the team together, and that's the OFC. And I think the one thing that I've kind of disliked over the years, seeing how the Red Sox, how they matured from lovable losers to perennial winners, is that I feel like their philosophy has changed completely. It used to chemistry with them, and now it's about sort of winning the Yankees way. Let's sign the biggest fish out there. Let's throw a bunch of money at our problems. And I do think what Rob said has a lot of validity. There was something missing from a leadership standpoint on this team. It was way too many underperformers. You could start with Carl Crawford. You could start with Lackey. You could go to Papelbon. Yes, they had injuries. And even Terry Francona. Seeing this underperformance means that he's not connecting with them on some level. The fact that they didn't have enough pride in themselves to live up to their contract, to live up to their abilities, that speaks to a larger psychological issue, and I think it starts with the OFC.
But the team was $150 million in September with their team in May, July, August.
But even the way they
was fine then.
started the season,
that was
a problem. And you get
none of that goes to the dugout.
Oh, of course it goes to the dugout, but I think it all comes from the top because their approach.
So he's getting the lion's share of your blame.
He is getting a lot of blame because he put this together. And when you put it together, you go out and buy the groceries and feel for Phil used to say.
If you're the first one to grab the trophy and hold it,
hey,
I got your line when I got up. I'm going to remind you, after a 2-10 start, that team went on an 81-42 run. That is almost unheard of in baseball. 81 and 42.
They had a 99.6% chance of making the postseason.
Okay.
And they were 0.4.
Okay. I'm going to do a blame pie. I'm going to do percent. Okay. Split it up. I'm going 30% and 30% on Lester and Beckett in that order because I have a little more respect right now for Lester than I do Beckett. And both were pretty much disasters in September. One was Lester 1 and 3, Beckett 1 and 2. But more important, they each had 2 starts apiece over the last week. 2 feet, 2, back to back. Came up goose eggs. You can't win. All you have to do, your 2 aces, your 2 best pitchers have to win 1 out of 4 games, and you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I'm going 30 and 30. You can go back even further and say all they had to do in the month of September is win 8 times.
Right.
Okay, I'll give you 10% on Francona because he was a great underdog chase manager. You know, he was good at that. But when you put him in the overdog position, 81 and 42, do something.
You don't do something to say
light a fire, throw a chair, turn over a buffet table. Really, every night it's. But that's not who he is. I know, it's not who he is, so you have the wrong guy. It's hard to blame him. He's just the wrong guy, wrong place, wrong time. So he's the right guy for the turnaround in all 04, but not necessarily now. And then I'll give you 10 on Theo, 10%, because Lackey was a disaster. So big picture, when you get nothing from Lackey, in fact, he's BP, he's batting practice, right? That's what it is. And then he invests huge money in Carl Crawford and Adrian Gonzalez. And you know what? The stage was way too big for both of them. They both failed on the Boston and New York stages because Adrian Gonzalez, he put up some sweet numbers until it counted. And when it counted against the Yankees late, he was a disaster. He was nowhere to be seen over the last 3 weeks. I can't even remember that bat. Okay? That's a big signee in a guy who's going to lead the league in hitting.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So then I've got to also go, I'm doing 5 and 5 on those 2 guys. But 10%, you've got to give them this credit. Injuries. Because Clay Buchholz arguably was their best pitcher last year, and you just lost him for basically the whole year. And you don't like Daisuke, but I believe that Daisuke can win a September game.
I don't like him. I can't qualify his move as a great move.
Okay, but I'm saying, he doesn't live up to the money. If Daisuke's arm doesn't fall off and he didn't run home to Japan, Janelle, do you want to say it? If you have those 2 pictures in September, you tell me that Buchholz and Daisuke can't win 1 game?
I'll give you Buchholz, definitely. But
that's 7 in the month of September. You don't deserve what
literally, they got out there and maybe got to try.
You know, the thing is, too, and 3 people came to mind when all this dust had settled. Juxtaposition, Carl Crawford and Johnny Damon.
Yeah.
And then also somewhere I wondered about Manny Ramirez. Okay. Yeah. Manny was there.
Look at Rays this year. Look at what Tampa Bay got out of Johnny Damon versus what the Red Sox got out of Carl Crawford. and for like a third of the price.
Well, Johnny looks like a bargain, and people in Boston are scratching their head about Carl.
Yeah, and he had 3 catches that could have totally changed change the game in the last week and did not. So he deserves a little bit of that blame.
Wow. We've never seen a night like that in baseball's regular season, that's for sure. Break time.